through this subject matter and looking at what's going on the ground level in terms of many of our people are hitting the streets, trying to provide some form of security, trying to look for where the missing children are, and seeing nothing on the media about missing children, missing black children. I was shocked to find out and learn that, I mean, God, okay, so the story starts off, was triggered off with the young boy who was kidnapped, and he managed to escape. He managed to escape, but wherever he was, he saw other children who were there, who were sedated and were in trouble, you know, and I tried to stop my imagination from thinking of what those children are going through, bro. So he escaped. It was reported to the police. The police have been weak in trying to run an investigation or seek out where these children are. So rightfully so, we have to find out where our children are. You know, so
just a backstory on it. So how old was the boy, and also what area was it? In London, or was it out of London?
He was in Enfield. That was in Enfield. Please, anyone in the chat room, correct me if I'm wrong. As a matter of fact, Kevin, I'm gonna let you see this real quick, and other people. So just bear with me for a second, because I'm gonna just switch. Boy, you know what? That's the thing about Graham, you know. I'm going to switch it over so you can see this for yourself, brother. And I'm going to play this for a bit, and then we can talk on it, because we want to deal with facts. And Scarcity City has done a sterling job of reporting facts of what has happened since this has come to our awareness. So everyone just bear with me as I switch it around, because I think this is necessary that we deal with facts on this matter, you know?
Very, very relevant.
Here we go. Right, so let's look at this.
Other children around his age, from 10 to 12. He said he was forced to take a pill, and this made him feel drowsy. When the people that took him were not focused on him, she said that he made a run for it, and he came to a shop, and that is where he seen the police, and they stopped him. She goes on to say that he hasn't said that they've abused him, but said others were hurt in a weird way. Be mindful of young people in your family. Something terrible can happen, she said. I thank God that he's safe. So this is where I believe the initial post was circulated from, and then from there it went to social media side. And
Metropolitan Police now
has made its way to the police. The police statement on this says officers carried out inquiries to find a 10-year-old boy who was reported missing on Tuesday, the 18th of May. The boy.
So he's 10 years old, yeah? 10 years old, 18th of May. That just literally the other day.
It was located and returned home, and police were made aware of reports circulated that the boy may have been abducted. The investigation team are keeping an open mind, they said, and actively pursuing all lines of inquiry to determine exactly what happened. So automatically, I find this very dismissive. To say that they're keeping an open mind does not mean that they're actively investigating.
Exactly.
Why hasn't this boy had a drug test? Why hasn't he been tested for a sleeping tablet? If a 10-year-old has made a claim like this, surely it shouldn't be very difficult to do. The officers also go on to say in the statement that they was made aware of another attempted abduction on the 15th of May in the Enfield block area involving a white van. They have traced the occupants of this van, and they have spoken to a man and woman in connection with this incident. And what was dangerous about this is that without any context, like somebody didn't see this white van with the children. There wasn't a picture of this white van with the children, like there was in the Mitcham case where Kavian was actually...
that was a madness.
He was trying to abduct. So that was hard evidence, and that is something that...
Okay, all right. Yeah, that one was a madness still. So... yeah, I mean, there's a lot more. There's a lot more, brother. There's a lot more, to be honest. There's a lot more. Let me just switch this around again. There's a lot more. So yeah, he's 10 years old. And based off that, community activist Respect has been putting boots to the ground under his organization called Forever Family. We've got to big them up. They're doing a fundraiser. I understand a fundraiser is going online regarding that. So please go on Respect Rebellion's page. That's Respect Rebellion's page, because these young men are going on the roads and they're even offering solutions like, let's have our own vans so we can escort children to and fro from school to home so they're safe. Yeah, and we need to support that. I've got personally, I've got a solution in my mind, and I want to share a solution with you and everyone else. But brother, no, you go ahead. I know you've got something you would like to add on.
So I'm going to talk about it from another angle, okay? Yeah. When we're talking about solutions. But I'm going to give it, I'm going to approach it differently, and I'm going to, you know. So when you look at China, okay, it's very far out there. When you look at China, they are very strategic when it comes to sending 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 of their people across the world. And they tell their people what needs to be done. Learn this, study this, get into these different institutions. And after 5-10 years, you come back to China and you bring back all the knowledge with you, and you bring back all the worldly experiences, and we're going to build a greater China. In the process, they look after their citizens. Yeah? So if anything happens to a Chinese person in any part of the world, the Chinese government will intervene. Okay? Same thing with the Jewish community in the Jewish world. They send their people out across the world, and their people come back, and they will build a greater community, country, mindset. Anything happens to their people across the world, their governments will step in and say, what are you doing to our people? Okay? Where does that happen with the black community or the black? What black countries do you hear them saying, what are you doing to our people? Do you hear that from Nigeria? Do you hear that from Jamaica? Do you hear that from across Africa? Do you hear that if you want to go throughout different places? So when you're hearing about black slavery in different parts of Libya, Sudan, and so on and so forth, right? There's no black leader that steps forward and say, hold on, what are you doing? Do you want us to send some soldiers over? Or do you want us to put some sanctions in place?
Come on.
And so the more that the abuse from around the world happens, the less respect black people get. And so now we're getting to the place where they attacked our women and nothing happens. They attack our men, nothing happens. And then they make their way to the children, nothing happens. So no country, no government, no organization, no conglomerate takes black lives seriously, because black leaders do not take black lives seriously. So now we're here. And when you talk about, for example, economic strength and economic power, it causes governments and organizations to sit up and say, we need to fix up or we're going to lose. They don't really care about people. You got to understand, these companies and organizations and governments and government bodies do not care about people.
Teach us, brother.
What they care about is their economic strength. They care about their worldly power and their worldly influence. And so what is it that we're bargaining with?
Come on.
Because in order for us to have true strength, we need to have a bargaining tool.
Come on,
we
brother.
need to have some form of leverage.
Yes, sir.
And so what country would you, and I'll pose to anyone, what black leader or country has stepped forward and said, from George Floyd right now to these kids being kidnapped, carry on with your foolishness? and see what we will do. And I'm happy to wait. What one black country across the whole planet has stepped forward. So now what happens now is, so we got to put that aside, okay? So the higher echelon are not interested, okay? Even the Obamas of this world, it's all one big lie, all right?
Come on, bro.
Right.
Talk.
So now let's go down one step. In America, yes, they would have their mayors and so on and so forth, and you know, they would have all of that. And so the mayors may talk up, right? And they may say, listen, it may be a black mayor, and they may say, this needs to stop. Okay? Now, to what level they are listened to, that's another conversation.
Yes, sir.
In the UK, and I'm going to use the term very loosely here, in the UK, there's 2 mayors, there's not one. There's 2 mayors.
Not one word from Sadiq, bruv. Nothing.
Right, but there's actually, yeah, exactly. And these classes may be minority, maybe, okay? Right, and I say maybe for a reason. But there are actually 2 mayors in the UK, it's not one. There's 2 powerful mayors, right? Yeah, you've got around all different parts of England, but when it comes to the true power source, there's 2 mayors, right? You've got the Lord Mayor.
Come on.
The Lord Mayor. Okay, I have to go back a bit, because once again, I know we're talking about the kidnapping of children, but we need to kind of look at it from another angle here.
Yes, sir.
So many different conversations about it. I have to come from a different place. Right. In London, there's a place that is not even a part of the UK.
Oh, bro. Stop. Kevin, I know where you're going. Brother. Wow. Let me just do a quick commercial advert for everybody. Real quick, like them American ones. People, what we're about to go into right now, you need to go and wake people up who've got work tomorrow. Text your brethren, your friend, your email, whatever. Snapchat. Get on this platform right now. Because what you're about to hear, people, is the very thing that controls our society. In order to protect our children, we need to know where the frig we are. Or in Kevin Samuel's words, where the French toast, where we are. Yeah, I'm trying not to cast any bad words. Kevin Bennett, take it away. Go ahead.
Right, so what we've got, inside of London, there's a place that's not even the UK.
Jeez.
The size of it is 1 square mile.
Ask the question. Where is it, people? What is Kevin talking about? What is Kevin talking about? Sorry, let me just shut my mouth. Carry on. I'm just excited.
Okay. Oops. Oh my gosh, I've just touched my phone. I hope I haven't messed with it.
You're good, brother. You're still there.
Okay, cool. Okay, so there's a place inside of London that is not classed as the UK.
Come on.
It's 1 square mile. And for those who understand it and know it, they will understand what's going on here. It's 1 square mile. They have their own government. They have their own police force. And people who go into London will know exactly what they're looking at if they're pointed towards it. And so I'm going to help them point and look towards it. Their own police force, their cars are red. Yeah, their cars are red. They have crests everywhere.
Teach us.
So in the city, you got the City of London. The City of London is not the UK. Now,
come on.
Some people may say, Kevin, what are you talking about? Please go and look and study it for yourself. It's not the UK. The Queen doesn't even govern it. The Queen doesn't govern it. Okay? It's not the UK, and the Queen does not even govern it. Now, why am I saying this? Because I'm jumping back and forth here. In order to be powerful and to have strength where you can control what's going on here, there's the triad. There's the triad, and I apologize for jumping back and forth. You've got the superpower, that's a part of the triad. But the triad is breaking up and changing, I must say that first. You have the triad. The superpower of the triad is classed as America. Okay? So they
Come on.
say that that is the power, the police force of the triad, which they try exactly the triangle, right? Which controls the world, or they're trying to, because China's taking over it and things are changing. And then you've got the second part of the triad, which is the Vatican. They class it as the spiritual side of the triad. Okay? So this is how they control the world here. Very relevant. And then you have the financial capital of the triad, which is the city of London.
Wow.
It's not
Why the
London.
city of London if it's London, bro? So, Karen,
Okay, so do you want me to go back and give you some historical content?
just for everybody. Yeah,
Okay.
man.
Right. Let me explain. So we have to do some historical work here. Going back to the Roman times, so we're going back thousands of years. The Romans came and took over England. Okay, they came and took over England, and there was a place that was built within London. There was a place that was built, and that place that was defended staunchly and heavily against outside powers, outside forces. And it was defended so well that what happened over the years, they would control, it's very hard to explain, they would control different parts of the outer ring of this place, but they couldn't control the inside of the place, okay? And so that's where all round by where Tower Bridge is and all the rest of it, and they couldn't get inside of it. So it had its own independence. This place is the city of London, but it's not London. It's the city of London, but it's not London. So even if you look at the Magna Carta, this place existed before the Magna Carta. Now the Magna Carta was made in 1215.
Yes,
1215 the Magna Carta was made. And so this place had its independence before the Magna Carta. So that means it exceeds the Magna Carta. Okay? Now,
so go ahead.
What has this got to do with our boys and girls being kidnapped now? Very, very relevant. Okay? So it goes back, as I said, even further than Magna Carta, probably a few hundred years. What do they call it? They call it immortal time or something. I can't remember
what we saying.
It just means it's so far back in time that they can't even put a time on it. I'll Google it in a second and find out, because I don't normally talk about this, so it's like I'm talking about it now, so just to remember it all. Okay, so what's happened over the years? When King James came in and all these different kings came in, they did not control the inner rim of this place, this 1.1 square mile. They controlled all around it.
Hence Tower Bridge, where the kings and queens used to be executed.
Yes.
Jurisdiction. Go ahead,
by
brother.
the way, if you look on Tower Bridge, it will show you that it's not owned by the Queen.
Jeez!
There's a crest on there. And the crest is, I believe, red.
That's right, it's the George flag.
Yes, it's a different place, what they've claimed overall. And so throughout the city, and then do you know that there's another mayor, and they call him the Lord Mayor, not Sadiq Khan. Sadiq Khan is the mayor for London. You have another mayor that's more powerful than Sadiq Khan that is in the city of London. Now this mayor, who is the Lord Mayor that is in the city of London, he is the one, and they are the ones that control the financial capital of London, not the Queen.
People.
Right?
Brother, let me chime in on brother. Thank you. Knowledge. And there's a question there as well. How did I think it was from? Let me just back up a little bit. Thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you for everyone sharing. Listen, man, there was a question. Sorry, any questions? I missed the question. People, while you're listening to this, get your laptop, Google the City of London. Notice what Kevin's saying is so on point. It actually has Latin words. There's a reason why they've stopped teaching Latin, which is the very essence of what we know as English.
I'm going to try and show you this on my other screen. I don't know if you can see it. Let me move this over.
The City of London has got the Red Cross.
Can you see this? Oh, 1 second. Let me see if I can try and
the Red Cross, people. You got to think. I want everyone to think. Red Cross. Yeah? There's a Red Cross in the back.
Can you see this properly, by the way? I'm not sure.
Yes, sir. It's just gonna be. Yeah, we can see it.
All right. Let me try and. This is it right here.
Different emblem. There's no crown, Queen's crest on it. No HR, Her Royal Majesty's, nothing. That's deep, hidden in plain sight, people.
Right. And so, so all of these are ownerships to state that they are the City of London. They're not even classed as the UK. They're not even classed as England. They're not even classed as London. It's a whole different place.
Different place.
Right.
You know, so, go ahead.
So it may physically be sitting on what you think the island of England or the UK is, but it's actually not. And so the reason why this is so relevant to all what we're talking about is because when you understand how economies, power, control, all of the above works, then you know how to navigate around being excellent within your strength and your power. Okay, so right now we have no one who truly represents, or no organization that truly represents us. Let me just go back a second. The City of London, do you know who votes for the City of London, by the way?
The bankers, if I'm right. Am I right? Bankers?
All or most companies. No, you tell me one company that votes for Sadiq Khan. They're not for Sadiq Khan. And Sadiq Khan is not for them. Sadiq Khan is there to control TFL and the people.
That's right.
Right? The City of London is all about controlling and working with businesses. Now, here's the problem. Now, here's why I get to my point. And this is a very, very relevant and powerful point here I want to explain to you. We are looking at Sadiq Khan to help the solution. The wrong mayor. It is the wrong mayor you're talking to. You should be talking to the City of London's mayor. That's the ones you should be talking business with. That's the one who you should be saying, this is the crap's happening and we need to work it out. But in order to be talking to the City of London's mayor, you need to have a powerful network and conglomerate around you.
Oh, bro, bars. Brother, so the metro, and I need everyone to understand this, and this is not one of those conversations where we're just woo in the sky. You can jump on a 453 bus. No, not 453 bus. Any bus that goes to Central, yeah? Understand this. You can jump on a bus that goes to Tower Bridge, London Bridge, Liverpool Street, Bank. Understand, there's a reason why the Bank of England, where is the Bank of England, people? Right where Kevin Bennett is described, the City of London. Where is the West Indian Lloyds of London, which was established from slavery, people? Yeah, based in the City of London, London Incorporated. So when we're talking about a lot of people, and you know what, I applaud people who are passing this petition around for let us write to the Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police. Understand, the Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police is inferior to the City of London Police. And
exactly.
Because last year when I went to a rally, it's an annual reparations march. That's where I had the privilege of meeting the Family Forever group team. I know a lot of them already, but I had the honor of meeting Rasbek, big up Rasbek, young man doing a lot of things on the roads. And I saw the police there, but it was City of London police there, Kevin. It was the City of London police with the red checkers. They understand. City of London police, Metropolitan police, two different realities. You got about 30, 40 plus constabularies up and down the UK. Yorkshire, West Midlands, you got Essex police, you got all different constabularies, the biggest constabulary being the Metropolitan police and the City of London.
Well, the City of London police are more powerful than the Metropolitan police. Metropolitan police don't come close to the City of London police. Yeah, and also I said, do you know that in order for, well, historically, I'm not sure if they're still exercising now, if Sadiq Khan was to go into the City of London, he has to ask permission from and I'll tell you who it is. Google William Russell. He is the City of London's mayor.
William Russell, yeah?
William Russell. See what comes up.
You saying we need to be hollering at him. He's William Russell, Lord Mayor. You all right, brother? And somebody mentioned Freemasons.
The Masons, they're all part of the Masons. They are part of the candles, the two candles.
Wow.
Ooh,
I'm just looking at some stuff. Go ahead, brother.
Listen, it's a whole different world. It's a whole different world. And the reason why I'm saying this is these people are the ones that we need to economically have some form of dialogue with. Because when you're talking to okay, let me ask you a question. Let's say these people are behind some of the things that's going on. You go to Metropolitan Police and they are inferior to the City of London Police, then what's going on? You're having conversations with the wrong people.
Come on.
Economically. Right, once again, we're talking Sadiq Khan, but Sadiq Khan is inferior to William Russell, for example.
So who's the commissioner? Because, okay, so Cressida, her name is Cressida, I'll try not to laugh when I say her name. Cressida Dick, the name of the commissioner of the Metropolitan Police. Who is the commissioner of the City of London Police? Remember, City of, if we understand English, which we do, City of, not London, but City of, meaning it's not in London. Who is the City of London's police? See, we know who the mayor is now. The mayor is William Russell, Lord Mayor. And if you look at the coat of arms, and I'm looking at it now, it's got the sword, the red sword, and the red cross. We got over, and it's got a red lion. So
do you know? Do you know that they go on longer than the UK, England itself? They've been around for thousands of years.
The Knights Templars.
And their mayors has gone back so far that they've actually lost record.
Jesus, and rice and peas, why?
Right. And so, like, once again, people may say, yeah, but what has that got to do with the kidnapping with these children? Everything.
Wow.
Everything. Because here's the thing, as I said to you, when the Chinese are saying, make sure that our Chinese citizens are looked after, they do not talk to Sadiq Khan.
Jeez.
Yeah? When the Jewish community are saying, listen, we make sure that
they got their own police.
We are not, well, as I said, this is very interesting, right? Make sure that we are looked after, our citizens are looked after, and what happened of the days of Auschwitz will never happen again. These are not the conversations they are having with Sadiq Khan.
Come on.
These are the conversations they are having with the Lord Mayor. So the black community is the only community that are talking to people who can't help them, even if they wanted to.
Come on, bro.
The
Come
black
on.
community is the only community that is not sitting at the table and saying, if anything goes wrong, we're going to stop putting money into your businesses.
Can I just jump in on that one, brother? And you're so right. And yeah, I want to let people know the petitions that you want to write to the House of Parliament, House of Lords. Well, even the House of Lords dominates the House of Parliament. A lot of people don't know that. But for all these petitions, I don't do the petition. I'm going to keep it 100. I'm not being disparaging of anyone that does petitions to the House of Parliament. You're sincere in your heart. I back you in your sincerity. But you know what? It's not working. That's not working. And I've seen this letter that we need to, a template that we need to send to Cressida Dick, the Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. I applaud the great work that a lot of people are doing in terms of their emotion. They're motivated to do it. But if I may just say, as Kevin is saying, and I want to echo this, that's not going to work. We've been doing that for years. We need to change up if we're going to truly protect our children. And Kevin, I discovered something. You're talking about economics and the table of power today. Yeah? In protecting our children. And I know a lot of us are serious. Child trafficking, I discovered, is one of the biggest money makers out here. Sad to say. And it comes in so many different forms. A lot of people think, and there's organ trafficking, there's all of these different things. And guess where the #1 child trafficking country is on the whole world, people? It is the United States of America. Guess where's #2? Right here in England. England and America are the top 2 countries and nations that are guilty of child trafficking. And a lot of people think child trafficking is just kidnapping a child, and there's levels. And I'm sad to say this. Child trafficking is made through courts. So, for example, 2 people come together, they marry, they have children, they break up, they divorce. Guess who makes a lot of the money from the children and whoever has custodial rights? Money has to be paid usually from man to woman via the court. Guess who's making billions annually? The lawyers, the attorneys, the judges. Through children being a part of a broken family unit or marriage. So it goes deep in terms of the family unit. And what I wanted to say to Kevin, to back up what you're saying, if we're truly going to have power to stop what's going on with our children, because to me, we have to draw the line there. You know, you know, black men in particular, disproportionate numbers being locked up, brutalized, harassed, and killed by the police, stopped and searched our young people. Now you're going for the children. We have to draw the line. And what I discovered was council tax. People, listen. Council tax is one of the... I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to say it now. Council tax is one of the main key ways where the police are paid. How many of us pay council tax? We are taxpayers, yeah? And which all of it, 32 boroughs of London surrounding the city of London. Enfield, for those of you who live in Enfield, and this kind of nonsense is going on with our children everywhere, but just starting off with Enfield, how many of you pay council tax? How many of you, the council of Enfield, for example, is responsible for paying annually the budget of the police? So if the police are not rendering their services and they are lackadaisical, as we could see in that report, why are you still paying them? If you have a staff or employees and they're not doing the work, you fire them. People, there's this talk of defund the police in America right now. We fund the police with our council tax. So me personally, and I'm going to say this, if they're not, and this is a power move, and I'm putting it out there and I'm going to repeat it again at the end of the show. If the police do not want to do thorough investigations into find out where these missing children are, be them black or white, in this case it's 300 missing black children, no investigation and no mainstream media report. If they're not going to investigate this, you and I should stop. We should hold our payment of council tax and write to your council and say, I no longer want to pay council tax because the services that you promised are not being rendered to my community in particular.
Mm.
You have cause people. As Kevin said, this is economic. Yeah, they got, and we can sit at the table of power. Individually, we'll have to do a little, but collectively, we come together and say, we're not doing it no more because you're not doing what we pay you to do. We pay the police, they're public servants. And no disrespect, I'm not saying all police are bad, but the forest is bad. So yeah, they say there's a few bad apples. It's not the apples, it's the forest. And we need to sit down and have a conversation with the City of London Police. And we need to have a conversation with ourselves as the community and ask, where is my money going? And I need to stop paying.
Just to add to that, we need, see, here's the thing. I think the marches should be within the mile square of the City of London, because that's the financial capital. That hurts. That hurts. Yeah. I believe the conversations, and hear what they will say, that William Russell would say, well, it's kind of slightly not part of our jurisdiction. Well, that's not technically true. Yeah. We hear your point, but it's not true. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you are a part and controller of the economic strength that controls England, the United Kingdom. It comes via you. So I'll give you a prime example. Okay, now let's think about it from a strategic perspective for just for a moment, right? I remember when there were strikes, and the strikes when the trucking companies were striking at Dover.
Yes, sir.
And they were blocking up all the ports, etc. And petrol and oil, etc., couldn't come into the country. It brought the country to a close. Okay? It brought the country to a whole shutdown.
Come on.
They had to then have a conversation. People are marching in the wrong places. They're marching outside Downing Street. It means nothing, and it's never ever gonna mean something. If you want to shut down the place, you go into the 1 square mile of the City of London. You then send another team up and shut down Dover. You shut down places that brings conversation to, because here's the thing. Someone's going to say, all right, Kevin, I hear what you're saying, but financially, we're not together. Okay, if we're not together financially, you grab 5,000, send 5,000 up to Dover, yeah, and stop trucks from coming in. Send another 5,000 to 10,000 into the City of London and stop traffic.
Make noise.
And you see how fast conversations will start. Because you may not have the economic strength to go into the arena, but you've got the people power to stop the economic strength in the arena.
Come on, brother.
That's how you strategically play the game. Right now, people are marching down the street. And do what? Who are you talking to? You think they're looking out their window? People behind their curtains saying, oh my gosh, Boris Johnson saying that, oh my gosh, they're outside again, guys.
The illusion of power. They're having a laugh, bruv.
Do you understand what I'm saying? What do you think when people are outside the palace? Do you believe what the Queen's doing? What? Hiding behind her curtains? It doesn't mean anything. If you want to have economic control for days, months, or years, you march within certain places. You march within the square, the 1.1 mile square of the City of London, because that's where the true strength is. It's what controls the world, not just the United Kingdom itself. The money flows through there.
Come on.
You go to Dover and you shut down things, trucks coming in and trucks going out in Dover. Then you start to get dialogue going. And so that's your street team. Remember back in the days, you had street teams? That's your street team. Then you have 4 or 5 guys who understand economics, have a worldview, and understand solutions. And then you go into the meetings and you say, we're going to open back up all the ports from the City of London to Dover.
And some of them, we have to assume some of those trucks are trafficking children, brother. From Dover to Calais, from Dover to the Netherlands, and God knows where else. We have to assume that. So we need to be going all out to stop the trafficking and kidnapping of children, of our children. We need to go all out. And I'm saying this, people, what Kevin's saying is on point, and Kevin will elaborate. I want you to elaborate on this even more. Every single borough in London, Tower Hamlets, Lambeth, Lewisham, Enfield, Haringey, Barnet, everywhere, every one of those boroughs are registered companies, PLC, public limited companies. If you don't believe what we're saying here, people, go and Google your borough. You know, I live in the borough of Suffolk. I used to live in Lewisham, I'm in Suffolk. I'm in Dulwich. Dulwich, you know, nice area. Nice ends, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You're looking good.
Anyway, but that. My point is, council tax, I'll say it straight out. They want me to pay council tax, and I'm like, nah, I ain't paying that. And I had a conversation with them. I said, are you a public limited company? They said, no, we're not. I said, all right. I went on the gov.uk. People go on gov.uk website, yeah? You go on there, put in your respective council names, and you will find under Companies House, under the gov.uk, that every single local governing borough is a public limited company. Now, any public, this is law. Any public limited company, sir, and I would like for you to go into this because, you know, this is the one of the solutions. No public limited company can charge you any money without a contract, without you agreeing to goods and services. A lot of people don't know. Council tax is issued by you. A lot of people, when they think of the council, they think of, oh, public services is free. No, these are registered companies. My good friend, John Mohammed, who's on the live right now, said that he went to, I won't name the borough, he went as a part of a borough meeting. He was at that table of power. And there's talks of people who want to set up their own boroughs. You can set up your own borough, literally. But they don't want people to, the working class, the working class whites and blacks to get involved in that conversation. Because once you set up your own borough, your own trust, then you can accumulate hundreds of thousands, or excuse me, hundreds of millions. Think about it. Every household pays at least, on average, £100 a month, £1,000 a year council tax. You look on one road alone, for example, in Suffolk, 100 doors, 200 doors on one road. How much is that? That's one street. Every borough is getting millions, if not 100 million, just from council tax alone. We haven't mentioned TV, no, forget that. Parking charge notices or any other unfair tax or bill. If everyone was to lawfully rebel, if we were just to get a template letter, so everyone can use that and write to their borough and say, I will not be paying council tax because the police service you pay do not serve us, the community. You can opt out. Sorry, bruv, go into that. Sorry, I don't want to talk too much. Go on.
No. What you're saying is absolutely right. It's absolutely right. You know, here's the thing, right? Here's the problem. Two problems. Many problems, but two I'm going to point out. One is that law books are very expensive. Yeah, for a reason. You can buy the most numbing books on this planet for $8.99, $4.99, $3.99. Okay, but law books are the most expensive. Why? Because they don't want people to study law. Okay, what's the second issue? The second issue is a very interesting issue. The second issue is, I know some roadman then who will say, do you know what, I will dead tomorrow if I have to. And they mean it, and I believe them, but they're scared of a red letter. It's like, hold it, you were dead on road, but you're scared of a red letter. As soon as they get a red letter, they've got anxiety. It's like, where did your anxiety come from? You got 10 men trying to murder you on road, and you have no anxiety for that.
Where's the energy, yeah?
Do you understand what I'm saying? because the government is very, very good at mind-numbing people when it comes to controlling the way that they think and feel about themselves. And so people are willing, it's like someone who self-harms. They will self-harm and harm themselves, but they, not all, but I'm just giving an example, but they will be scared of someone harming them. Because it's about self-control, and it's about outside control. When the government says something to most of us, we become scared within ourselves because we're not educated enough to understand what it means.
Sure.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And so you've got so much black on black crime, and the black on black crime would make other and outsiders look in and say, if you don't even like yourselves, we're not going to even take time out to defend you. And I'll tell you what's very interesting.
Yeah.
And I know I'm jumping back and forth here because our time's short, and we can go into it more deeper another time. So I'm aware that I'm jumping in and out. Something may not make sense to people.
No, go ahead, bro.
Some people may say a year from now, I finally understand. Here's the thing, right? And this is an issue, a major issue here, and people kind of skirt over it, and I find it very interesting that people skirt over it. When white police officer or white racist man or any other race comes in and harms a black person, the whole street comes out. But when a black person harms a black person, the whole street doesn't even turn up. Not even a quarter of the street turns up. And so what's also starting to be recognized is when the outside world is looking in and saying, hold on a second, you guys are not even telling your own that what you're doing is wrong. So it's very hard for us to defend you when you're not defending yourselves.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm saying that is important is because in the House of Lords, in the House of Representatives, throughout the different societies that they've got within the City of London, who steps in on our behalf and say, hold on, we don't play with ourselves, so don't play with us. Because, okay, we know about the triads and all the rest of them within the Chinese communities, right? Okay, and most of their wars are amongst themselves. Tell me how many times you've seen triads against another part or another gang on the news, because it happens. Jews have a lot of conflicts amongst themselves. Yeah, but when is it ever on the news? Do you get what I'm saying? When you even hear about normal crime, how many Chinese crimes have you heard about even on the news? Forget about it being gangs. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because here's the thing. When economies are involved, protect the image.
Wow.
When economies are involved, when money's involved, when finance are involved, protect the image. The reason why the black image is not protected because the black image doesn't have a powerhouse when it comes to the economy. And so the more that the black image is not protected is the more that the outside world would abuse our children, abuse us from police perspective, abuse us in every form and fashion. The whole Karen concept in America and around the world now is based upon white women against black colored people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because everyone's doing it now. Everyone. Even Karen's got to say so. Because white women going back going back to slavery was complicit in the damage and the harm of a lot of black slaves up until this current time.
Wow. Wow.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? And so now, it's like, wow, we can get away with it in a different way now. Now we can call the police and just scream down the phone and say a black man's attacking me, and the police are coming guns out. But they wouldn't do guns out if it was a Chinese person. They wouldn't do guns out if it was a Jewish person, because they are taught. They are taught when they're within their training and unofficially as well. Be careful who you mess with, because there's a bigger picture that has to be upheld and represented here.
People understand facts.
And I know once again we are talking about children, black children. But what I'm trying to say to you is we've got this far when it comes to abuse and kidnap, slavery, racism, and all the rest of it. And it's getting worse because we are warring against ourselves and we don't fight against that. We don't step out and say, do you know what? Okay, who's the kid that killed one of our children? We're gonna deal with him harshly. We don't do that. We become quiet. Yes, the mom and some of her friends will come out, and yes, some people say stop knife crime. We're quick to say stop knife crime, but we're not quick. But we're not quick to point out who's doing it.
Jeez.
Like we could tell you every police officer almost who has done something to one of us, but we can't tell you the name of another black kid that's done it to another black kid. So when the outside world is looking in, they're like, you know what, you guys don't even take your own affairs seriously.
Come on.
Do you understand what I'm saying? We are a joke on the global scene. I'm going to prove to you why we are a joke on the global scene.
Hurts,
Every time, and this goes back to the city of London. That's very important here.
Boss.
Right, who votes? Right, the question is, who votes? I'm talking about actually voters. Just like how me and you vote for the mayor or the prime minister. Who votes for the city of London's mayor? Who votes? I'm going to tell you who votes for them.
Come on, take bars. Go ahead, bro.
By law, it's companies. Companies will elect about, well, it depends on the size of the company. So depending on the size of the company, research it for yourself, by the way. Depending on the size of the company, they will give a certain amount of their high-level employees, yeah?
Buzz.
They say go and vote. Well, they're going to say you're going to go and vote for which mayor you're looking for, or which mayor they're choosing. So when you talk about all these big companies, they vote for a different mayor.
Teach us.
Okay? They don't vote for the mayor of London. It's not their interest. They vote for the city of mayor because they are the ones that are the financial capital. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because when it comes to black growth, when it comes to the growth of black people, A, we're voting for the wrong person. B, we're in the wrong position. C, we don't even know what we're doing when we're doing it. Now, why do I go back to, I'm going back to my point now, why I'm saying my point what I just said. The reason why I'm saying what I'm saying to you is this.
Go ahead.
Companies, even companies don't respect black people anymore because we're voting for the wrong place. So hold on, do you remember what Jermaine done with the monkey boy?
Yeah, coolest monkey in the jungle, yeah.
Gucci,
right?
Tom Ford, all of these companies, they take liberties out of black people, and because they know, do you know what black people's gonna do? It's a joke. It's almost a joke. What they know is this. Black people's gonna get upset, they're gonna put it over social media, their sales and that's gonna go up. Black people's gonna forget 2 weeks later, then they're back in the stores again.
Exactly.
So the greatest way to create a campaign is to abuse the black image.
That's what Chanel, Gucci did that not last year, the year before. I think they had some form, actually it's before COVID, that this
the slavery mask.
But it was a jam jar Hollywood caricature of black people's features. And Gucci, people overstand Chanel. There's so many brands that are affiliated that was designed by Nazis. People don't know that. These were the Germans of today who are just German citizens. Then you have the German Nazis who are the sympathizers of Hitler that designed top brands that we're fighting each other for to this day. People, go and Google it. And do you know what, Kevin? You were mentioning companies in the City of London. Guess what the top City of London companies are? And why they're not in South London, East, West, or North? Number 1, Google. Number 2, Imperial College of London. People, Bill Gates is one of the biggest donors of the Imperial College. And where is it? City of London. Also, University College, London. Bloomberg. Goldman Sachs. Sky, I believe that's Sky Point for, I believe that's Sky TV, I'm not sure. Barclays, if we know the history, Barclays Bank. See?
They are major part of slavery.
He was a slave owner. His name was Barclay. In fact, Kevin, how many of us knew, and it's not a coincidence that you got the White House in Washington, D.C., and in London, well, yeah, London, Westminster, London, you got Whitehall. No coincidence. But guess what? 10 Downing Street was named after a slave master, Sir Robert Downing. Barclays, Lloyd's Bank was based off slavery. Lloyd's of London, based in the City of London. So again, people, we're not going to give you all the answers today. Go and do your research. Knowledge is power, guys. Top international companies are based in what we believe is to be London, but is situated in the City of London. Company's House. Guess what's on Company's House? The United Kingdom PLC. A lot of people don't know that the United Kingdom is a registered company. Don't believe anything we're saying here, guys. Go and do your own research. You know what breaks my heart as well, bro? When we were children, Department for Work and Pensions, based in the City of London. JP Morgan, based in the City of London. In fact, Canary Wharf. If we was to get into Canary Wharf, don't even start. But anyway, well, yeah, it's Sky TV. Sky is based in the City of London. Check this out. What breaks my heart, bro, is that when we were young in primary school, secondary school, standardly, we would take trips to central London, wouldn't we not? Westminster, Tower of London, House of Parliament, Trafalgar Square, Tate and Lyle, Buckingham Palace, any famous landmark, children will be, in our day, were taken to as a school trip. Stock market was also started through slavery. That's right, Gary. So we would standardly, Tower of London, bro, Tower Bridge. We went there. We saw the crown jewels, all of them things there. The Mint, which is also in the City of London. Check this out. Most young people, bro, up to between the age from 0 to 16, don't even know where Tower Bridge is. Never seen Tower Bridge. Never seen the Tower of London. Never seen Liverpool Street. In fact, true stories, a group of children was taken from a school to Liverpool Street, I believe is in 2019. And they said to the teacher, where are we still in London? The teacher obviously would say, yes, we're still in London. But the children thought they left the City of London and London. And by the way, sir, is there a reason why it's called Greater London on the outskirts as well? So when people go into the centre of what we believe to be London, it's called the City of London. And it's not actually London. So I just thought I should make that point, bro, that most children, please take your children out over half term, obviously accompanying them, and let them see Liverpool Street, let them see Bank. The Bank of England is a museum you can go into, man.
Do you know how deep it is? In 1715.
Come on, bro.
In 1715, even in Liverpool, because you said Liverpool Street, so I'm gonna it just triggered something for me. In 1715, Liverpool had the first warehouse. They called it a wet warehouse on the docks, where the slaves used to come off the docks, and they used to straight away on the streets and the warehouses. They used to be brought into the warehouses and sold. In 1715 in Liverpool, it was the first wet warehouse. And around Liverpool, you've got Jamaica Road and all those places, because they had slaves all around there. So now they call it Jamaica Road. And here's the thing, they didn't just have Jamaican slaves, they didn't have just Caribbean slaves. They also had Chinese slaves, people didn't even know. They had Chinese slaves, they had all these different slaves. There were so many different slaves in Liverpool that, like, when you look at Liverpool, Manchester, those places, the reason why, like, there's a lot of, like, more mixed heritage, in those places because they were raping the slaves as they was getting off the boats. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, why am I saying what I'm saying? Because even though a lot of the Chinese were slaves as well, they found a way to economically get back into the mix. And so I want to explain something. China is a very, very big place, very big country, 1 point something billion, 1.3 something, something like that, 1.3 billion, okay? But what China done, and even though a country can do it, we can do it as a small community. What China done, China was way behind. I'm talking about even in the 80s, not too long ago, they were way behind, right? Now, what did China do? China sat back and they said, let's stay quiet and let's watch the Americans. Sorry, not America. I'm even before the 80s. Sorry, I apologize. They said, let's watch the Americans go to war. Let's watch the British go to war. And whilst they're doing that, we're going to prepare ourselves. We're going to train. We're going to build. We're going to build. By the time America turned around, China was in such a powerful position. The problem with the black community, we're always at war. Man's in war with woman. Woman's at war with man. Child is at war with dad. Dad's at war with cousin. We're in so much war, we're tired. This is the reason why when someone said let's go out and fight in the world right now, we're like, we're tired. We're stressed. We're always at war. We are a bunch of warlords. We war with family. We're warring with this person. We walk down the road. A guy, well, funny, I was walking today and a guy bounced me. And I looked in the mirror of the shop and I saw him look back at me. I didn't purposely look back because I knew he was in war mode. I know I can be a warlord, but you're not the fight, brother.
Come on,
You're
well
not
done.
the fight.
Well done.
I know where the fight is, and you're not the fight.
Well done, bro.
Do you know what I'm saying? We are, as a people, always in war mode until we don't even know. And the people that we should be going to war with, we don't have the energy for them. But we got war for ourselves.
Tactics, deliberate.
You know what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying from a strategic perspective is the Chinese, they knew that the Americans were going to war until the Americans were tired. They knew the British was going to war until the British was tired. And what did the Chinese do? They sat back and they said, you know what? Let's take over the world when they're not looking.
Jeez.
And what they done, they climbed into different countries, bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit. And as you look, get a map, get a world map and start to research where the Chinese are and what they've done. From Africa right through to the Caribbean, they're taking over the world economically.
Yep.
Yeah? And we're fighting against ourselves so much that we don't even realize that the Chinese taking all of our stuff. Because we're in war mode. And we don't even realize.
In Africa.
This is my point I'm trying to say to you, bro. This is what I'm trying to say to you. Like, what is going on is a lot deeper than this. It's so deep. Do you really think they can have Chinese? Do you really think any other race could have some Chinese kidnapping ring going on? And you think the Chinese government would allow it? What?
So what is it? Okay, you've explained why we are allowing it, because there's levels of self-hatred. And okay.
We're not believers. We're not believers of ourselves. We don't believe we come over from God. Listen, you go to Africa, you go to Jamaica and those places, no other place on the planet has more churches than us.
Come on.
Every corner we go, there's a church, but none of us are true believers.
Come on, brother. Teach.
Do you understand what I'm saying? We're not no true believers. It's a lie. We go into church because we lie to ourselves. We go into church because we want to prove that we are doing something that we're not actually doing. We're not no believers of God. We're believers of religion.
We're on the sus and the gossip and the rumor spreading in the church.
Listen, even forget, before we even get to that part, we do not believe that we are of and from God. We even think it's blasphemous to say that we're of God. That's how disconnected we are.
Come on, bro.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And so what we do, and let me tell you what they've done. What they've done, they've said this. They've said, listen, people, guess what? You black people, this is what you lot should do. Keep praying to God, and when you get to heaven, he will bless you. But whilst you're on earth, just be slaves and don't worry about it. Money's bad. This is bad. That's bad. Do you know what? Look on your wall and have Princess Diana and all these people on the wall and just be fine. Let me tell you something. If you used to get a black Jesus, for example, and put him on a black wall, the whole house will run out and leave the house behind.
Facts.
And what has it got to do with the children nowadays being kidnapped? It's everything. Because when you lose self, the rest of the world doesn't respect you. When you lose self, the rest of the world doesn't respect. Okay, let me put you another way. Here's another way to look at it. Okay, you meet a woman and she says, I've slept with 400 guys, and if you give me a moment to sleep with your dad and your cousin and your brother, I will sleep with them too. Would you marry that woman?
Hell no.
Right. So when you got a set of people that says, any chance we get, we kill each other. Any chance we get, we rob each other. We don't respect economies. We don't respect self. We don't marry our women. We don't do any of those things. It's the same mindset. The rest of the world, like, I can't do business with you. I can't have you to be a part of my House of Representatives. I can't do any of that. I have no respect for you.
Deep. And bro, Kevin, just chat to the people who feel that they can rise individually on their own, brother. With the bars that you're spitting right now, bro. A lot of black people have got this individualistic thinking that, oh, well, I'm an individual and I can make it. I've got grades, I've got degrees, I'm all right. My mortgage, I've got good credit.
Let me tell you something, brother. Let me tell you something. The most destructive thing, or the most destructive woman, believe it or not, to the black community in the last 20 years is Beyonce.
Woo!
Beyonce told women, about independence and all the rest of it. And when Beyonce was telling women about independence, she was going back to her man, her husband, and all the rest of it. She was going back to her company that was giving her millions to build up. She was going back to her family that was connected around her, building them up. And women was walking around talking about, I'm independent, I'm independent, I'm independent.
While she's married.
And why she was married, she had a big conglomerate around her, injecting major money into her. And she had all these young girls growing up saying, I don't need no man. Look at what they said, no scrubs. Yeah, no scrubs, and all the rest of it.
That's
TLC was doing that as well. Yeah. So I'm jumping in between different ones.
My bills, that telephone, I don't think you,
Right, do you understand what I'm saying? All of that. Listen, people may think these are small things. You don't understand. Okay, let me tell you the reason why people don't understand. What makes a culture? What makes a culture? Music is part of culture. Clothing is part of culture. Art is part of culture. When you're building up a culture, all of these different things, food is a part of culture. Now, why are we destructive? Because we eat oil, in our foods more than anyone. We consume negative music more than anyone else. We don't even believe in art. We don't even believe in art. We made opera music. We made classical music. We are the makers of it. And we don't even celebrate it today.
We're disattached.
So when it comes to culture, we are the forefront of culture, but we are the biggest consumers of what we eat when it comes to culture. And what we eat when it comes to culture is destructive. The Beyoncés of this world. The food that we eat is destructive. All of these things are destructive. The things that we watch on TV, that's destructive. And that creates a culture. So culturally, we are in a place of poverty, The world doesn't respect us. So how can you do business with a world that doesn't respect you? Hold on, let me tell you something, right? Man, you got me going. Listen, let me tell you something, Do you know that racism is accepted in porn?
I remember you talking on this last
time. It's accepted in porn.
Go
Yeah,
ahead, brother.
people actually go on porn. Black people go on porn to celebrate their own women being abused, and those women in the moment of doing their porn is accepting that abuse. They're called nigger, they're called this, they're called that, they're called all of these things, and she's like, oh my gosh, harder, harder, I love it, I love it, I love it. Do you understand what I'm saying? By other
Yeah.
races, right? So now what happens? Most, you know, most of the population watches porn at one point or another. So then what happens when you see that level, as soon as you see a black woman on road, she is seen as porn. And then what happens? She plays the game. She flicks for the camera. She does this for the camera. And she's like, once again, it goes back to that individual mindset. What? Just leave me alone. I'm doing my thing. You don't understand, you're part of a bigger picture. And the bigger picture is making people lose respect for us. The guys, not just women alone. Let's go over to the guys. The guys, once again, are even worse because men are the leaders of the society, not women. Historically, our men are so feminine now. And it's like, once again, that feminine behavior doesn't breed leadership.
Come on.
There's no leadership in feminine behavior coming from a man. And there's no leadership from women that are behaving in a certain type of way as well. So our culture is totally broken.
Come on.
What is culture made up of? Food, art, entertainment, fashion. Now you tell me first part of our culture that we actually own, first and foremost. And then you tell me secondly, a part of our culture where we're being abused by our own tools that's being used against us. And then we turn around and we're saying we want the world to respect us. Black lives matter, not to black people.
Come on, bro.
Let's be real.
Black
lives do not matter to black people. Because black lives matter doesn't just mean that life matters when it comes to being. Yeah, black lives doesn't just mean that black lives matter when it comes to just being killed. Black lives matter when it comes to culture.
Come on, bro.
Black lives matter when it comes to porn. Black lives matter when it comes to presentation. Black lives matter when it comes to the City of London and being a representative within the City of London. That's the reason why black lives doesn't matter, because black lives doesn't matter to black people the way that we represent ourselves as individuals than within a collection of people. So black lives doesn't matter to black people. It's not just violence alone, and that's where most people go wrong. When you step out of your door, are you wearing a suit? Are you wearing a nice dress?
Teach. Your image.
How? The image. The image. And the image is what makes you feel good. The problem is most of us are walking around traumatized.
Come on.
I remember, I don't know if I told you this, but one time I done some research and it just got me interested, and I done some research and I was looking at, when my mum used to beat me, what words did she use? Every single word that my mum used when she used to beat me, were the exact same words they used to use in the 1800s with the slaves. The exact same words to a T. Now here's the problem. My mum didn't know better because her mum done that to her, and her mum done that to her. Yeah? I'm going to touch a very interesting point. No, I'm going to skip that for a reason, because people's going to not get the point. Well, some people ain't going to get the point. The problem is a traumatic event is what happens to you. A trauma is what lives inside of you. Traumas are passed down from one generation to another inside of us. The words we use are coming from trauma. The behavior we are conducting ourselves within comes from trauma. You cannot walk into a powerful environment with powerful people and you're going through trauma.
Wow. Say it again.
Yeah, you cannot be around powerful people. I can't remember the word exactly. You cannot be around powerful people when you're going through trauma. Yeah, most of us are traumatized and we don't even know it. We need therapy. We need counseling.
Big time.
Yeah. The problem is when black men step forward and are a bit emotional online, the world comes together and destroys him. Yeah.
Teach us.
Right. And so we are going through things right now where most black men are suffering in silence because they don't know how to get counseling. They don't know where to get therapy. And if they express themselves, they're battered by their own people.
Come on, brother.
Yeah. How many memes right? Listen, and I always talk about this because I'm very passionate about this. Very, very, very passionate. When that Dominic guy went down on the girl on the stairs New Year's, 10 years back or whenever it was, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Why did he do that? Maybe because he was drunk. Maybe because he's an idiot. Maybe because he's going through trauma. We don't know why he done it. But he went down on the girl, someone filmed it, and now the world, the black world or the black community has created St. Dominic's Day. And every single New Year's, they actually destroy this guy. We don't know right now if he's committed suicide. Jesus. We don't know right now if he can even look at his family again. We don't know what has happened to this guy. But what we do know, in the name of our entertainment, we destroy people within our own community. Black lives do not matter to black people, not the majority of black people. It only matters when the bars are being hurt. And it only matters in the moment in the name of a meme or whatever it may be. Because black lives doesn't matter Monday to Sunday. It only matters when an event happens and everyone wants to vent their own traumas projected outwardly.
Facts. Big bars, man.
So all I'm saying is this, and it's very simple. What's the solution? We need to look at our culture. No, we need to look at ourselves. First and foremost, we need to get counseling. We need counseling. I'm going counseling at the moment. I'm actually going counseling. Yeah?
Counseling.
Right. We need counseling. We need therapy. We need to have safe network groups where we can express ourselves without being chastised or ousted. These are the inner works. We need to move certain things out of the way and become and have a proper relationship with God. Okay? They're the fundamentals. We need to look at our culture, our art, our food. Like, do you know how many children right now I see flicking their bum up or doing gunman poses and all that when they listen to certain tunes? And that child you think is going to be the future leader of our community, the answer to that is no. He's going to be the future person that's going to be in prison or whatever. Because the culture is projecting a certain type of behavior. When you see those little girls, 3, 4 years old, 5, 6 years old, and they're flicking up for the camera and all the rest of it, she is going to be pregnant by the time the age of 15. And it sounds bad what I'm saying, and some people are going to take it personal. But I'm telling you this now, you're not giving the children enough chances to go out in the world and to be world leaders. The Chinese community, in comparison, are prepping their children to be thinkers and leaders. So what they do, they send them out into the world. They say, right, you go to university in Oxford, you go to university over there, and they send them across the world to understand how the world works. Then they bring them back and they say, let's build a greater China.
And they don't lose their culture.
And they don't lose their culture in the process.
If you noticed, Chinese people were like the black community in Hollywood. We were given stereotypical roles. The Chinese were given the dishwasher and all that kind of stuff. Bruce Lee speaks about that a lot.
And they just do the ching chong and all that. And they used to take liberties. Let's take liberties. And there's a smile with them. They say, okay, that's fine. And behind the scenes,
sorry.
behind the scenes, they were building something. Now,
the Chinese, so that was in the 1920s, 1900s. What did they do? They had their own theater establishment and film industry in China that matched Hollywood. When Hollywood was on a depression in the 70s, bro, what was the films that we were watching, especially in the black community? Kung Fu movies. We were watching martial arts films. This is a bit before our time, but Friday martial arts films. Elephant Castle Odeon. You go, man, then we're going to watch the Kung Fu movie, the dubbing, and hey, you killed my teacher, you bastard. We go. So your master Wong Ling Ling. I'll teach you. Hey, So we love all of that kind of stuff. The Chinese, every one of us to this day believe Chinese. Every Chinese person can do kung fu.
Yes. Oh my! Let me tell you something.
Every one of us believe that Chinese people can fight and do kung fu. Go ahead.
I kid you not. The worst thing that has happened to the Chinese image is UFC. The worst thing that's happened to the Chinese image is UFC. Because a lot of Chinese men are getting mashed up, and it's like, oh my gosh, how did that Chinese man lose? Do you understand what I'm saying? The worst thing that's happened to the Chinese image is UFC, because the Chinese projected themselves as something to be invincible. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, in comparison to all the different images of different cultures globally, what has been the images through the 70s of black people? It was Shaft, Superfly. It was the broke brother that needs to do drugs or sell drugs or whatever it may be, or high on drugs and whatever it may be. And what did the CIA do? They flooded the ghettos in it throughout America. Do you understand what I'm saying? What was the Italians doing in the meantime? The gangster image, the businessmen that were gangsters, yeah, that were strategic and all the rest of it. And the Godfathers were built from it and all the rest of it, right? And in the meantime, let's go to Jamaica. What would they represent in Jamaica? The harder they come. Yeah, it's the harder they come, the harder they fall. And all this gunman business. Yeah. Right. And so when you look back in your mind, in America, they have to go to Superfly. When they go back in their mind to Jamaica, they're looking at Jimmy Cliff and the harder they come and Smile Orange and all the rest of it. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Culturally, as I said, culture is made up of fashion, entertainment, food, music, and there's one other, yeah. And so you got to understand that this is what we hold on to. This is what we hold on to, and this is what our influences are, and this is what makes us feel good about ourselves. When's the last time we've gone to the theatre and watch and gone to watch the orchestra, or gone to listen to classical music? Because we made it.
Come on. We don't belong. We think that that's not our thing. We think, oh, this is the white man's thing, classical music, orchestra.
We were the ones who made it. We were the ones who made it.
Facts.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So culturally, we are culturally impoverished. Like, there's a poverty going on culturally. Yeah. And if your culture's not in place, we are not in place.
Come on, bruh. That's
so. What I'm saying?
It's facts right there, man.
It's funny, like I was watching like most people, and I find it very interesting. I look at it from a psychological perspective. Most people look at it from an entertainment perspective. So with that, what's it called? Blue therapy?
Trauma. I think it's blue trauma. The one about relationships, yeah?
Yeah, is it blue therapy or is it blue therapy? Trauma.
Blue therapy.
Is it blue therapy? Yeah? Right. So I watch it from a certain angle, certain perspective, right? So when I was watching it,
yeah,
there was one where obviously the girl was talking about, like, this is the food that my parents eat, and if you don't like it and you're acting like you're too bougie and all the rest of it. He's an idiot, that's fine, I get it. And she's just different as well. But it was interesting what she said. She said, listen, my parents, I think it was, I can't remember, what food was it she was talking about? Was it
pounded yam?
Was it yam? And he was saying,
Trauma. Her name is Trauma.
Right. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not defending him because he's definitely not the brightest bulb in the pack. Yeah? He's pretty dull, okay? But his arrogance is what blinds the bigger picture. Okay, yep. Fair enough. Let's put that aside. She was saying, I am not going to challenge anything that my parents handed down to me because this is the way it is. He's saying the food is a bit too oily. And she's like, I don't bitch about oily. This is what it is.
Yeah, that's
He's a problem and she's a problem because she's not willing to elevate. And I'm not saying that you should change the food. I'm saying investigate your evolution. Investigate your evolution. Do you understand what I'm saying? Investigate your evolution. And because she's not investigating her evolution, she cannot evolve. And because he's arrogant, he cannot evolve. they are both in a place of stagnation.
Mm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Because she's not willing to evolve, because she's not willing to evolve the culture. She's not willing to. And he's not willing to evolve because he's caught up in his own arrogance. And if this is the representation of the future of the black household, we will be enslaved, not by others, but by ourselves. For the next 200 years. Because he's enslaving her with his arrogance, and she's enslaving him because she doesn't know how to evolve or even investigate evolving. And I'll tell you the reason why I say that. Because let's say, for example, most of us, which we are in our lifetime, going to get diabetes. Within our lifetime, we're going to get high blood pressure. We're going to get all of these things. We have to look at our culture. What culturally are we taking into our world that is making us get diabetes and high blood pressure and all the rest of it? By the name of culture, she won't even investigate it.
Death. Our culture is death now, bruh. That's what it is.
Exactly.
To sum it up, we are celebrating death. We're dancing, and I'm saying as a people, we're dancing with death. That's what's just come to me just now. So then, for those of us that are into Bible and those of us who are Christians, which is a lot of black people, there's a part.
Sorry, bro. I've got to let you know my phone is on 5%. That's why I keep on putting it down. I'm on 5%, so I'm going to cut very soon.
You've covered a lot, brother. You've covered a lot. So, yeah, in the book of Revelations, it talks about the pearl rider, and on the horse, the pearl horse, he had death. In the last days, this will happen. And black people in general, but especially my community, look around you, look at your home, and ask, what culture are you doing in your home? That's what I would say. What are you practicing with your Listen, man, it really disturbs me that adults allow their young children, especially girls, to put their young girls out there in a way which is inappropriate. I don't get it. And I'm going to say it straight up. I don't like the fact that schoolgirls go to school in clothing which, in my opinion, you're pulling up your dress and you're revealing yourself as a school picnic, as my grandmother would say, my mom. As a young school girl, as a girl picnic, why, or I should say to the mothers, why are you allowing your daughters to walk road with dirt above their kneecaps? Why are you doing it? I'm asking.
Well, do you know what it is? It's back to the Beyonce mindset.
The culture of death.
It's back to the Beyonce mindset. The back to the no one can tell me nothing. I'm independent. And that's back to that mindset. And that's what I'm trying to say to you. Part of our culture is music, and our music is destroying us. It's a major problem.
Absolute facts. You know, and the thing is, we have to do that. We have to police each other first and foremost. And online, people think the friends you're making online, we're talking about protecting our children. They're not who you think. Has anyone heard of the dark web? Every picture, every post, as you said, Kevin, before in previous shows, the internet is not free. Your children are on Snapchat, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, they're on WhatsApp, they're on Facebook, they're on Twitter. What else is there out there? Your children on all those platforms, and you don't even know what platforms your children are because you're not policing their phones. Parents, we've got to do a better job. We're all parents, we have to do a better job. Police your children better. No, but he's my friend. You know, I don't want to treat my son the way my mum treated me. I'm going to treat him like a friend. No.
So, and you know, sorry, just thinking about it, right?
Go ahead.
Good people can do bad things. And so that can make a good relationship bad, or it can make a bad relationship good. What we need to investigate at all times is the word, the phrase, and the meaning of intention. So when you're seeing certain things, what is it people are intending to do? So for example, that blue therapy, what is the intention of it? What is the intention of it? Forget about the entertainment of it. What is the intention of it?
Brilliant question.
And do you know what's interesting? And it's not a race thing, by the way. It's very important here. It's not a race thing. So please, for those who's looking in, I want you to understand the psychological mindset of it, not the race element of it, even I'm pointing at the race side of it. A white woman is sitting on the couch,
Yeah. Oh,
listening to two
bro.
black people destroy themselves.
Bro!
She is the Jesus of their scenario.
Bro! Blonde, bruv, the marketing, the blonde, bruv. I thought I was the only one that saw. I'm like, isn't anyone seeing what's going on here?
And what happens is the black people destroying themselves, and this woman sitting back, and she's like, so tell me about this, tell me about that. That, people don't realize how serious this is. People, and once again, here's the thing, people don't realize this is subconscious and psychological. It's a subconscious thing that's going on. But listen, guys, I'm gonna cut because my phone's gonna jump. Bro,
we're gonna bring Kevin back on this Sunday. We've got to finish this blue trauma thing off because they're going in. But I'll wrap it up from here, my brother.
Also, I want you guys to look out for my shows that's coming forward. So one of my shows that's coming forward, we're on the 7th episode. We're gonna get ready to launch them. One of the shows that's going to be launching in the next few weeks is called Kevin Bennett's Trauma, where I'm interviewing people that's gone through all different traumas, etc. And we look, it's very solution based. Also, as well, I want you guys to look at another show that I've got coming out, and it's called One Day of Kindness, where I find someone for one day and I absolutely turn their life around just for one day. It's amazing, like a homeless woman.
Will you come back on this Sunday so we can do a part 2 and go into blue trauma this Sunday?
God willing, God willing, God willing.
Let's get you on this Sunday, brother, and continue this. Yeah,
I'm going.
Blue trauma. Thank you, Kevin.
Love to you all.
Bless. Thanks, Kevin, man. Love. Everyone follow up Kevin Bennett on the Instagram. Don't go anywhere yet. Don't go anywhere yet. We're wrapping up, but don't go. I've got some news. Don't go. Play this video back. It's on YouTube. It's on Instagram. Share this video. Follow, like, and subscribe to Black Film Institute on our YouTube channel. We've got more Kevin Bennett's knowledge on there. Please, guys, before you leave, follow, like, and subscribe. Look, man, there's a lot of stuff that we discussed. I can recap on it. My way of combating this madness that is going on, and I will recap on it. We spoke about the City of London. The Lord Mayor of London is more powerful than Sadiq Khan. The City of Police, the City of London Police, are more powerful than the Metropolitan Police. We got to know where we are. London and the City of London. When you're in the City of London, you're not actually in London. Washington, D.C. is not really a part of America. Don't listen to me or Kevin. Go and research this. The Vatican City is not a part of Rome. It's a different jurisdiction. We've got to understand law. And I'm telling you, police are paid through council tax. By law, you don't have to pay council tax. You don't. It's a legislation invented in 1988, 1992, council tax. Norman Lamont, who was a part of what is known as the Cambridge Mafia. These people are business people. This is not law. So if you want to lawfully rebel, then look into groups like how to not pay council tax, how to beat the bailiffs. There's a lot of people suffering with a lot of debt and depression and can't feed their families, and they're facing eviction. And you're worrying about how to pay some fictional tax that to services that don't even want to serve your community. About you want to go and write petition. That's not going to do nothing. They laugh at that petition and use it as toilet paper to wipe their ass. Let's get serious, guys. Otherwise, people won't take us seriously. That's what the message I got from Kevin. Let's get serious with our image, how we look. Your image is your media. We say that all the time. I work in the media, but your media is how you communicate. This is one thing before, and I'll keep saying I'm going to go, but I've got to give you this. To protect our children, you've got to learn this A, B, and C. A, B, and C. What does that stand for? I teach children this. It means appearance, behavior, communication. Another thing we've got to learn is A to H. This is military and what the police learn. Your A to H. A to H stands for age. A to H is age. A is for age. B is for, it slipped my mind now, behavior. C is color, the complexion. Yeah, A, B, C, D. D is any distinctive marks, scars. E is elevation, which means the height. If you want to describe anyone that's trying to do madness in the community, is their height. E represents elevation. F is obviously face. What do they look like? G is the gait. The gait is how is the body. Are they slouching over or are they up? We practice these things in theatre. What's their body language? Their gait. How are they looking? So G for gait. H, do they have any hair? Are they bald? Do they have long hair, straight hair, curly hair, dreadlocks? You got to learn your A to H. Teach your children A to H so that when they're describing anyone, they can use the A to H. Age, behavior, color, face, distinctive marks. Military and police know this, and it helps with memory as well. Also, there's a thing called SCRIM. It's an acronym. SCRIM, can't quite recall. It represents how do you identify cars. We're talking about protecting children in the community. SCRIM. What does SCRIM stand for? SCRIM. Go on Google SCRIM. SCRIM. SCRIM description. It represents how you can describe cars. SCRIM. Okay. So that's SCRIM and that's A to H. It means vehicle description. It's a way how you can, it's easy. It means SCRIM stands for shape, color, registration, number plate of the car, identifying features like is it got dents in it? Is it a hatchback? Is it left wheel? It got spoilers? Has it got tinted windows, rims? So that's identifying. And what's the make and the model? So that's SCRIM. 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 Go on Google these words. You'll get the definitions. Teach your children SCRIM. Teach your children A to H. And teach your children about appearance, their behavior, and their communication. Because these are the things that they need to have to arm themselves to protect themselves, their image. And if they need to remember anything, practice it. I took a group of children out for a walk and I said, look, I now need you to remember certain things by using the A to H. I now need you to recall certain things by using the SCRIM. 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 Standing for shape, color, registration, identification, and make or model of the car. Know this. Teach that to your children. Teach that to yourselves. And take them off PlayStation 5 for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So that's been us, Kevin Bennett and Courtney Winston, Black Car Speakers Lounge. Please go and like and subscribe to this video. Go to the City of London, walk around, learn these things for yourself, get a book, read up on it. There's so much to learn. Knowledge is beautiful. Knowledge is power. Knowledge changes behavior. Knowledge is beautiful. Knowledge is power. Knowledge changes behavior. SCRIM, A to H, A, B, and C. All of these things. Train ourselves, train our young people. We're in a different time right now. The sun's out. Yes, we're enjoying it. We're having a good time. Music and lockdown is going to be ending soon, we hope. We don't know because we're talking about this variant now, innit? So get out, get the sun, top up on your vitamin D because that strengthens your immunity. Yeah, vaccine alone don't make it. Stop eating mad food and getting a vaccine. How could you even... Yeah, I'm going to get the vaccine, but you're still going to carry on eating madness. That's what you call oxymoron. That don't make no sense. I've got my jab. I got my second jab, third jab. But you're still eating madness. You're still not training. You're still not drinking enough water. You're still not thinking healthy, positive. And your immune system, scientists say, is affected by your thinking. Your immune system is affected by your thinking. So we're always thinking negative, then your immune system is going to be low. But when you're joyful, that's why I love the Christian family in the church. Praises and singing, because it uplifts your vibration. That's one thing about the culture I love. Uplifting music, man, uplifts your health. Uplifting music uplifts your immunity. If you're listening to low frequency music all the time, I listen to all kinds of music. I listen to a little bit of everything, man. But I'm very careful what I put into my in here. and in here. I'm very, very mindful because you are what you eat. You are what you eat. You are what you eat, man. Not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. You are what you eat. What are your children sitting in front of all the time, man? Oh yeah, just leave them in front of the TV. Are you mad? You're going to just leave your children in front of the TV. So what the children are raising your children now. The TV are raising your children. The mobile phone's raising your children. The tablet is raising your children. Come on. We've got to be awake and aware. And if you're not awake and aware, then your children can't be. So educate yourself, parents. Love this stuff that my man is spitting some bars. I love it. Kevin Bennett, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone here on this platform. I know it's been a long one. Rest up good. It's 12 midnight, but it's been worth it. Peace out. See us this Sunday, part 2. I think we should go into blue therapy, man, and the effects of that, what's happening on the community, blue therapy. Because I was watching, I was like, yeah. Okay, people. Love to you all. Peace. Remember the A, B, and C, the A to H, and SCRIM. Go and Google it. Go and Google it. Peace out, kings and queens. Peace out, human family. Love from Black Car Speakers Lounge, Black Film Institute. From myself, from Kevin Bennett to you. Peace.